and welcome to another evening of frank conversation here on Hardcopy, coming to you from our studios in Abuja. I'm Maokpe Ogun Yusuf. On Hardcopy tonight, I speak with Nigeria's Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu. Dr. Tanko Sununu before now had served as a member of the House of Representatives for 2 tenures and chaired the House Committee on Health. Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu, thank you so much for coming on Hardcopy.
Thank you for inviting me. Well,
sometimes I associate you so much with health that I always forget that you're now with education.
Well, exactly.
Do people make that mix up sometimes?
Sometimes myself, I used to say Minister of Health. But
then you catch yourself.
Yeah, but I have to discipline myself to know that, look, the almost barely 40 years I've spent as a medical student, and it's over. Now I'm in the Ministry of Education.
You're in the Ministry of
So
Education.
I begin to now realize that, look, I'm a different person now.
Yeah, but considering what you know, then the wealth of knowledge you gathered while you were in the House of Representatives, because you chaired the Committee on Health and you understand the challenges that, face the ministry many times. You had oversight functions over the ministry. Is it something that you wish you had the opportunity to fix?
Well, I think it's a very good experience that I have, and it has really modeled my way of life in terms of opening up my mind to see how we can critique what is happening within the ministry. Mm-hmm. And to also know that really you try as much as possible to not avoid being bamboozled by facts that are not realistic. Because you have been, one time as interrogator, you interrogate, you raise questions, and and now that you have also been interrogated, it calls for you to be very, very careful and be meticulous in the execution of your activities so that you can be above board. Yeah,
well, you know the areas in which the pitfalls lie, yes, yeah. Especially with the ministries.
Exactly.
But in general, when you know what your experience has been as a medical doctor, and the fact that you've had the chance to be able to interrogate the Ministry of Health, do you wish that you had the opportunity to fix it now that you had a chance?
Well, if you say fixing, I think I've done a lot in fixing the Ministry of Health as a House member, because our credit. The committee I've chaired, we have made a lot of input in terms of a review of the most act of the Federal Ministry of Health. And also we have contributed so much towards infrastructural development, most especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, where we have
parliamentary experience is very different from executive. I'm sure by now you know the difference. Having served in the House and right now as a minister.
It's very different, but you see, I wouldn't say that my being in education is a wrong decision, because the fact is that the core issue is that Mr. President found me credible enough to be part of his management team that would administer his goodwill and also his policies in the country. And then for him, he was also saying that I have the capacity to go to education. And what remains for me now is to garner all the experience from the health sector to see how I can perfect to meet the president's expectations. Not only that, you find that it's just like a two sides of a coin, education and health. We share virtually almost all the same problems. In health, the problem is infrastructure. It's also in education. Funding is education. Blocking linkages, both are there. Crisis in terms of brain drain and human resources for education and health is almost the same. And when you are also talking of the access to health and access to education, it's almost the same. If you are talking of out-of-school children, they are out-of-school, out-of-hospital patients that cannot afford to go for many other reasons. So it is just like...
it's interlinked.
Yes, interlinked. Wow. So I think and then, most importantly, if you fix education, you are fixing health. Because the human resource for health are the output of education.
Well, truthfully, there's very little I can do. Even if you were in a ministry that was not linked to health and you were in a totally different ministry, you have what you have. You're Minister of State for Education and you have to function in that capacity.
Yes.
I'm just wondering now how tasks have been distributed, because you have the Minister of Health, Minister of Education, and then you're Minister of State. How have you distributed the tasks?
Well, let me say one thing. If there's any ministry that have enjoyed harmony and a very good working relationship, is Minister of Education. The Minister of Education, we agree that we are going to work as a team, and we are working as a team.
So
if you want my minister to get angry with you, even at the directorate level, tell him that this is the jurisdictions of the minister, or say this is jurisdiction of the Minister of State. He will get angry because we have resolved to work as one, as a team. And that's why confront me with tertiary issues, I'll be able to say something. Confront the minister with basic education issues, he'll be able to say something.
So
and for so far, nobody will have seen us talking in different tongue.
I see. There's been no variation.
Yes.
And you all oversee
We all oversee everything. And
is that efficient, though?
Very, very efficient. Very, very efficient.
You just raised the issue of salary arrears, and we understand that just a few days ago, in the Ministry of Education, teachers of Unity schools were threatening to go on strike as a result of salary arrears. You were the one who addressed the striking teachers, teachers who had gone on protest. What exactly was the issue, and how has it been resolved?
Well, I think the whole issue is about, when you look at it in 2018, there are a group of teachers, some of them are being initially as voluntary staff being supported by the Parent Teachers Association of some institution as their own part of assistant to the schools. And PTA alumni are all there to see how they can promote education in their alma mater. Now, it happened that some of them, there was a recruitment, and a lot were recruited. But then there was an issue when it comes to enrollment to IPPIS. Some of them, definitely as before, the issue that there is that perennial delay in terms of capturing this. And some have some issues with even how they've secured their
admission,
employment. So a lot of things come together. Then unfortunately, there was a delay for some months and some years before the salary is commenced. And then finally, they started getting their salary. And then the whole issue is, myself and the minister, we have agreed to be frank to average Nigerians. And I think he was in one of your programs here, either in Channels Television or anywhere, and he was asked about such. And he said, really, he's hearing it for the first time. And that's actually the frank this thing. Because when we came in, our first duty is to see how we can get all the ministries' problems through briefings and others. The first we were told is that there was a circular, an agreement between ASU and the federal government, which has not been circularized. And we said, okay, fine and good. We call ASU, they testified to that. And we initiated a motion and we got it circularized and they were paid. Salary implementation has already we're past that stage. You understand? So, but unfortunately, we are not in the picture. The picture was not brought to us.
For the Unity School
For
teachers.
the Unity School, that there was some segment that wasn't paid over time. And then it came to us. And when we heard of it, we said, okay, we are inviting you quickly to an emergency meeting. You understand? I want to get the scenario. We had it in the shortest possible time. The following day, we say we are inviting them to emergency meeting.
Okay.
And I'm coming. And when they came for the meeting, the minister and I myself, the permanent secretary, was even in a retreat at the head of service office, but she left the retreat and came to the ministry so I could meet with them. But I'm almost surprised. We've seen the number of people that came. And then it somehow turned to either peaceful or what kind of a protest you would put it. And that's why I left my office and came, and I talked to them, look, the honor is that we have invited you to
Oh, you were the one that invited them?
Yes, so we invited them to
So it wasn't exactly a protest?
But the number that came, the large people, and with all the mobilization of journalists, it's not even the teachers. There's a special group of that they were involved. So there was this mass mobilization from different states to come, and they came. So I have to tell them, and I went, and you have the record. And I said, look, we have invited you to a meeting. Except if you mean that the leadership that we have invited are not credible enough. And you don't want us to meet with them so that you can call them back and we get some people from you. And they said they all agree they are credible enough. I said, okay, if that is the case, let us have a time, let us go up with them, have a discussion so that we can understand where the problem is and how we can address the problem. And that's what we did.
It was saying that there are two problems, because much as this is a recent one, the one you just spoke about, the people who are being employed under the Parent Teachers Association. There was also
this one, the formalization is through the Federal Civil Service Commission.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Not the Ministry of Education.
No. It's the Federal Civil Service Commission.
There was one that happened with the Ministry of Education, yes, whereby, when the age for retirement for teachers was increased from 60 to 65 years, and some of them were being old after that elongation of their tenure.
Yes.
Was that issue resolved?
The issue is being resolved.
It's still not resolved, because it was since last year.
Yes, I say it's being resolved. Let's understand what really happened. Now, when it comes to the issue of elongation, you see, IPPIS and all other computer-related applications, once it's programmed to terminate 31st of December or at the last day of your edition, automatically the pay will stop. You understand? So you have to be reinitiated, and there was delay in that reinitiation. But for now that we have elongation has been perfected, anybody that is going is a small transitions. But for the first few more people that would benefit from the elongations, because of the programming has not been changed, they suffer that.
So right now, it's have they been paid now?
The services, they have been paid.
Okay. But IPIS still seems to be an issue. I mean, it was the issue for university lecturers. We understand that was resolved, but there were still, controversies around. Have all of that been resolved now?
You see, there wasn't any controversy. You understand?
So they have been resolved in totality?
No, I can't say in totality, because even right now, even after migrations, state institutions must check note of their addition. They have to do verifications to realize that, but you cannot say that the implementation will stop until verification is after. But they have to go, just like what the University of Maiduguri, let us be open. He is on hard copy, that he has addition, and it's really addition, and this is very common in many organizations. You understand? And why is it that even the university and the Vice Chancellor insisted they must opt out of two things, waiver and IPPIS? It's the fact that you are working for me, and I don't have control, and I don't have a say in your emolument. Whether you come to work, if you refuse to come to work, I cannot stop your salary, because the salary is not under my control. So you understand, discipline becomes something else, especially in institution.
So you have developed guidelines right now?
We have developed guidelines, and it has been circularized. That I can assure you. And this is what I'm saying. That's why we said, myself and the minister, we have agreed to work together. Otherwise, if I say, okay, the minister is at the tertiary level, and you are now asking me this question, and I cannot be able to respond, it becomes something else. Okay. There is success in unity.
Well, if you say so. I think that the taste of the pudding will be in the eating, and we'll hear from Nigerians if it has been resolved, to their satisfaction. Because whilst, there's attention paid to ASU, we also saw how NASU and all the other non-academic staff workers, we're up in arms that how come there was so much concentration on ASU, and they also, threatened to embark. I think they even embarked on the strike action, demanding the same treatment that was given to ASU. Has that been, resolved now? Have they been given some money?
We are working on that, because what is happening is that the ASU were paid 50% of their withheld salary.
Yes.
And then to the exclusion of the senior academic staff of the university, and non-academic staff, and many other additions. And then that was also been we are working on it, and even the presidency, we are working together, and definitely it will be addressed.
How long will it take?
Now, you see, when you have a sectorial approach, giving a time is not that easy, because it's a factor that involves the Federal Ministry of Education, Federal Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Labor. These are the key actors.
So it's difficult to put a time frame. You can't say within 3 months we should be able to.
No, we do hope it will not even reach that 3 months. Why should it? We don't hope it's so.
Let me take you up on this issue of accessibility to education, because you've also talked about how similar the issues in health are to education. And there was a talk around reducing a policy to reduce school fees for parents. What was the thinking around that? Because some people will say, and we did see a number of state governments try to compel private schools within their domain to reduce school fees. Some people felt, how is that the business of the state? They are not state schools. Yes, they are regulated by the state, but they are, doing their pricing within the confines of what it is that, they are spending on production costs within their school, and also they're not for profit organizations, they're for profit. So is that a policy that can really work? And what precisely is the federal government trying to achieve with that?
Well, as of today, that is to my knowledge, the ministry will have not come up with that policy. But we are geared towards making the public school qualitative in such a way it can compete with private school.
Okay, that's
what I would try to.
That answers my question. So let's talk about student loan. I mean, as you rightly pointed out, the president has now signed the student loan bill into law. It was passed in March, and people are wondering when precisely is it taking off? Has it taken off already?
You see, let's look at the people will say it has been said, and there was a delay. At times, it's better to have a delay than you crash land. Major causes of delay are 3 or 4 that we have experienced earlier than now. It's the fact that the law is restrictive and discriminatory, the earlier law, of which I've also participated in passing it. But sometimes law, the aspect of law is just like, what do you call this study? You start something just to see how you can, I've forgotten the word. So, but what we are saying is it's restricted in there that it only tries to address one component of a student problem. And what is that component? Tuition fee. But unfortunately, it's only no federal government charges tuition fee. So if we go by that law, it means no federal government student would benefit from that. Except if you are in your school, if you are in your state of origin, you cannot also pay tuition fee. And therefore, you cannot also benefit from it. So, but if you are from other state and you are schooling in a state institution, you are going to pay tuition fee. So it means they are the only one that will benefit. And then it comes with a lot of other criteria that are
This is in spite of the amendments that I have now.
No. I mean the earlier one.
Yes.
So we have the decision, and then we have to, because of that, correct that we have gone there.
Yes. So we
and
know
that
now
has been passed now.
Yes.
And then now the act provided that we should have a management committee. We should have a management team, which is now been there should be an executive chairman and their board members, and also the executive director that is going to be appointed, and many others, and the operation director and many others that will be appointed by Mr. President.
Okay, so until those appointments are done, it will be very difficult.
President is a respecter of the rule of law.
I'm just asking. I'm just saying until those appointments are done.
Quite all right, and it will soon be done. It will soon be done.
But you don't have an idea of when?
It will soon be done.
Okay. Where is the student loan, the student loan body or this committee? Where would they be domiciled? Would they be domiciled?
It's not a committee, it's a body.
A body. Where would they be domiciled?
When it was committee, it cannot sue or be sued, but now it's a body.
Where will it be domiciled?
It's domiciled with Federal Ministry of Education.
So it will be under the Ministry of Education?
Yes, under the responsible minister that will be communicating to the president is the minister responsible for education.
Interesting. So how many students are you hoping that the student loan will be able to cater to in the first few weeks or months when it starts?
When you look at the source of funding of that loan, you will know that it's going to cater for a lot of students. Because the two major funding now we have is the appropriation. You understand? And from the day one that the president has assented to that law, all taxes, bonds, and what have you that accrue to federal government collected by the Federal Inland Revenue Services will have 1% of it devoted to
the student loan.
To student loan.
So so in spite of the fact that the body is yet to kick off, that money is already being collected from
Yes, it's been collected.
Yeah. Where is it domiciled? Where has it been domiciled?
They themselves with CBN.
With the CBN?
Yes, but FRIS is the one responsible for this thing. But you also remember that we have 50 billion in the appropriation, and we also have another 10 billion before now in the supplementary budget. You understand? And they are this thing.
Let me take you up on the issue of low cut-off marks, which is something that people have also gone to court for. I mean, this is another issue that has to do with, well, primary into secondary schools, especially for the unity schools. And do know that before now, some people had, specifically, I think former NBA president, Mr. Olisa Bakuba, went to court to, say that they cut off admission marks into secondary schools, especially the unity schools, were discriminatory. How has that been taken on now, especially with the court ruling that also seemed to agree with him?
You see, if you look at the issue of admission, and this is something that you have to understand it. Not even from primary up to the tertiary level, you have to understand it. You see, there are many criteria in education. Merits, catchment area, you understand, plays a lot. And then this is also a reflection of our constitution in terms of character component. And even if you look at it even at different universities, they have their low different cut of marks because of competition. So
the university system is a little different from how it works in, say, the primary school system. I'll give you an instance.
If you say for
to get admission
if you say for unity school, when we were around, we had an admission. This issue you are bringing in does not arise. We had a flat pass mark. Once you get it, and also where the problem relies is also still the competition. Let me say one example. You may have 50, 60%, and then 96 to 98% of parents want King's College or Queen's College, which you know there are a lot of competitions there. Now, you have several candidates that are willing to go there. And if you say, okay, let parents also have 3 options. They will say Queen's College, Queen's College, King's College. You understand? So it becomes so competitive that in that case, at times, the ministry will have to look at the best brain, which is the merit that you have. They have all qualified. I have 51 marks. This one have 99 marks. And we want all the same schools.
So are you saying that, the state cut-off marks are no longer existing?
To my knowledge, as far as we are concerned, the ministry, it's no longer existing.
It is now a flat...
It's a flat tradition. Once you are passed, the next thing that will determine your decision is the availability of space in your institution of choice. Is
it the same thing you recommend now for tertiary admissions too?
No, you see, tertiary admission is quite different. Because if you insist they should have a flat admission, there are some institutions that, except if the first premier institution have no space, others will not go down there. You understand? But you see, the most important is the quality of training and standard. It's the same.
Dr. Tanko Yusuf Sununu, thank you so much for coming on Hardcopy.
Thank you. It's really hard to be here.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much for obliging us. That's where we wrap up the program tonight. But we'd like to hear from you. So please speak to us using the handles showing on your screen. Thank you for watching. I'm Mao Yusuf.